The writer's warm-up is back with Jesse Stong and Playwrights Workshop Montreal. Welcome to your Friday morning writer's warm-up. Hi everybody, how's it going? My hair is still not cut. Let me know if there's any sound issues today. Have I got an activity for you today? I have this activity I call the Holy Trinity of activities, okay? We're talking, this activity is going to help you get clarity on your grants and articulate the grants you're writing for your work. This activity is going to help you find prompts for your writing prompts that you can use. This activity is going to help you find the thesis, the central question to your work. This activity is going to help you with motivation. This is the activity of all activities. I'm setting myself up big, but did you miss me? I missed you too. Someone let me know if my sound is screwed up. All you need for today, good on taking Monday off, Jesse, getting material. Oh, good, yeah, if you do miss me on Mondays, just start watching some of those old videos. There's 22 of them now, there's amazing stuff. I missed Monday, it threw my whole schedule off, which was very interesting. I spent the whole week missing you. It felt like a month, actually. So today all you need is really a story idea. Okay, that's it. And maybe it's a new story, maybe it's one you've already written. Either way, this activity is going to work for you. It's about asking questions, it's about making connections, and I want to see how it's going for you. So what I want you to first do is I want you to get a pen and paper. I suggest buying a notebook that you really like. I say it every week, but I hope you're listening to me. I want you to buy something that you like writing in that's just for this one project, just for this one story. I have my butterfly book. And then also I want you to think about if it's a story you've already written, that's okay. Maybe you just want to explore it deeper. Or if you just have a new idea, that's okay too. All you need is a story. What we're going to do is separate your page into 3 sections. Or actually just write. It doesn't even matter. We're going to get messy today. I really suggest you hand write, that you don't do typing. I say this every week. Typing, if you have to because of a different ability, that's fine. But typing is different than handwriting. Handwriting is a connection. Literally, there is a neural connection from your brain to your heart to your hand that you write with, your dominant hand. And so it's really important that you take the time to write and edit later, that you do the work on a pad of paper. I want to say really quickly that the charity is still the Batshaw Family Foundation. The Batshaw, these are the group homes in Quebec right now with the COVID crisis and with everyone having camps closed down and postponed. There's a lot of support needed. There's a lot of issues with volunteers. If you can go to the Batshaw Center Foundation, give a little money support, that would be really great. Ignore that thing that says Mondays and Fridays because we're just Fridays now. Jesse's taken a summer. So the first thing I want you to do is you're going to write for hopefully for 3 minutes or 2 minutes each time. So the first section is going to be what we're doing today is we're writing in questions, not in answers. And it's really important to always think, what's the questions I'm exploring? We did this a little in the grant workshop. It's the same thing. Rather than writing in answers, thinking, what am I exploring? What am I asking? What are my questions? What do I not know yet? What am I trying to dig in on? What's the thesis, right? So the first thing I want you to think about, we're going to do 3 little writing things, and I'm going to ask you to connect them all together. So the first thing you're going to write about for 1 minute, just blah, 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 write as much as you can, but try to write in questions, okay? The first thing we're going to think about is the characters and the plot and the story kind of thing. So it's like the actual meat and potatoes of your project. And I want you to try to think of what are some questions when I say go, you're going to start writing any questions that your characters are asking, that your story is asking, that any connections what are the questions? So a good example I have here is The Lion King, right? You could say like The Lion King is about a young person having to become king. Right? So this is a story about a young man. That's a statement. But what are some of the questions that The Lion King is asking? How do we process death? How do we accept a challenge, or how do we accept our fate? What is the price or sacrifice of power? These are questions that Simba and that story are asking. So for 1 minute, just write. You're not stuck how you started. No one's reading it but you. Be as messy as you want. Stop in the middle of a sentence. Go on to a next one. I want you to try to write down as many sentences as you can in 1 minute of questions, as many questions as you can that your characters, that your story is asking. So let's see if you can do it. Start going 1 minute. I'll go to the fly cam. He's extra cute today. What are some questions that are coming up? This is just the start of the warm-up, so just let your brain flow. Some connections that are being asked. Think about your characters and your story. Any questions come to mind? What are they asking each other? What are they asking themselves? If you don't really have characters in your play, just think more about the narration or the voice. What are some questions that it's asking? Or the journey, what are some questions that the journey of this piece is asking? keep going. Questions that my characters, that my story, that my plot is asking. Maybe they're big questions. What is life? Maybe they're specific questions. How do I get to the corner store for my milk? Any questions? 30 more seconds. Maybe what are the players asking rather than the characters? What's the community of your play asking? What's the world of your play asking? 10 more seconds. Try to get one more question. What is my hair doing is a good question. Okay, so what I want you to do is look over the questions you just asked and try to summarize it in one question. What's one question or maybe two questions that could summarize what these things are saying? So look at them and just try to see. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. If it's not possible, maybe you're not there yet. But what's a connection between all these questions? What's one big question that could hold all of them? Or two or three questions that could hold all of them? Just trust your instinct. This is just the warm-up. Try to think, summarize it in one question. If it's not possible, that's okay. Okay, so we're gonna move to section 2, okay? Now we're looking at the style, the structure. I'm gonna explain all this when we're done, how it all goes together, by the way. The style, the structure, the function, the tone, the design, kind of like the external thing that holds the story, right? So if you're writing a comedy, what are some questions that you're asking from comedy? Can comedy, like Noises Off is like, can the first act mirror the second act perfectly? Or can we like take two of the same things and repeat them with more hysteria? That's a bad thing. What's a question? Like, how do we use feminism in absurd theater? How can a play move backwards? What happens when we fragment our words? Can a play exist without a character? Like, what are some of the structural things that you're working on in this play? Any questions that the structure, the style is asking? So if you're doing an action, it's like, can an action adventure be serious? I don't know, just think of questions. I'm gonna give you one more. I'm gonna shut up now. All my kids are saying hi. Hi kids, are you guys watching with your papa? So keep going. So the structure, the style, what questions are you asking? What are you exploring? Do 1 minute. What are some questions in the tone of your work? Can a work be serious from start to finish? Can we laugh about death? Can comedy transform society? If you don't know because you just picked the story, just think, what kind of structure have you been playing with in your writing? 30 more seconds. What kind of style are you playing with? What are some questions you're asking? It could be big questions, it could be little questions. 20 more seconds. I'm trying to think of more to help you here. What's something about the tone that you're asking? Can the young voice come through in a play from 1950s? Is there a way to make history alive again? Is there a way to bring the future into the past? Can we do a play that works in circular logic? You know what I mean? Just think about what are the questions. 10 more seconds. Or actually look over the things you just wrote and try to summarize it in one really strong question. Maybe you're not going to be able to, but try. What's one question that can unite all these kind of questions that are coming out of you? Take 30 seconds. Try to summarize just this one section. What's one question to rule all the questions along style, structure, function, tone, maybe design? One question. What's the biggest one? 10 seconds. Gonna run out of time today. So the last one I'm gonna do, it's the same thing. It's now we're looking at you as an artist. I want you to think about what are questions you're asking about yourself, about your work, about your process, about where you're at right now in the work, about what you want to gain, about what you want to do. Rather than what I know is I know I want to write a play. I know I want to write a musical. No, it's like, How do I bring myself to a musical? How do I bring a queerer voice to a musical? How do I make a musical for 2020? What are some questions that you're asking as the artist? Take 1 minute, get personal. How am I growing? How am I changing? Be specific, be general, whatever you want. Can I write a 100-page novel? Can I make a pop song that has meaning? Will I ever finish? What about you? What are you exploring? What are you asking? My hair is so intense today. Can I ever get a haircut? That's my other question. You got 20 more seconds. Think about questions that you're asking yourself in this work, in this story, in this project, in this time in your life as an artist. Maybe it's like not the best questions you want to share. Like maybe it's like, is art meaningful? Do I care? These are all okay questions too. It's everything you're asking. 10 more seconds. So look over, I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Look over some of the questions you just wrote about yourself. Try to summarize it in one question. Is there a way to say it all in one succinct question? Maybe not, but try. 30 seconds, go. See how Fly's doing. Little sleepy boo-boo. So cute. He's been meowing and meowing. Summarize your thing. 10 more seconds. So the reason I call this the Holy Trinity is because if you can try to figure out a way of how your story and your characters are asking a central question, your style and your structure and your theme, your tone is asking a central question, and you as an artist are asking a central question. If you can somehow align those three together or make a connection, you create something that's unstoppable. Something that the characters are pushing a thesis, that is pushing the structure of the play, that is pushing the artist to create it. How do you make alignment with that? So I want you to look over everything you did. It's probably not going to happen in the next 3 minutes. But I want you to just look over and do some doodling, do some connections. Which one of the statements are connecting? From section 1, does anything connect to section 3? Whatever, look for ways to make connections. Do some free writing around these connections. Try to just centralize what you're thinking. Try to summarize it in a simpler way. And actually, while we're waiting, if you want, put any of your sentences in the comments. We can talk about it. Or even if you can come to like one question to rule them all, the Holy Trinity question, put it in the comments because I'd love to know if you got there this fast. It's a hard thing to do. But that's what we're looking for when I'm reading a grant or when anyone's reading a grant. They want you to clearly articulate the style, the form, the story, and the artist coming into alignment, right? With one question, not an answer. When I read a grant and it's like a salesman is pitching it and the person's like, I have the best play ever. It's the best. It's amazing. You're going to love it. Give me money. It's like the money is for the exploration. The money is for the questions, not the answers. And it's actually very off-putting when an artist is like, I know this and I'm great and it's amazing. You're going to love it. I much prefer someone who's really engaged in the research, who's really engaged in the process, who doesn't know if they're going to do it, but they're going at it with an experimental mind, right? So this was a big thing. A lot is probably happening if you actually went through those activities. And you're going to find little connections that you can write about, but maybe you're going to be able to find one question to rule them all, right? I was thinking about The Lion King as an example because I love that movie. It's like something to do with the circle of life and how it's like we have to accept the circle of life. We have to accept our part in the circle of life. Or what is my role in the circle of life? Could be like the thesis of all of it, right? And when Elton John was writing that music, he was questioning becoming a father, retirement, or going back on tour. He was questioning his position in the circle of life, right? And when they put that movie together, it was talking about Africa. It was talking about, maybe it was doing it in a very inappropriate way that's problematic, but it was the idea of like this whole world connected through nature, through royalty, through family, right? So it's like everything came aligned, right? No one's writing anything in the comments, so I guess we're not going to do that today. But I want you to really think about what's one question that everything is driving towards. And when you can get there, it's going to be like a motor that keeps things going. I've never ended early before. I'm kind of scared. Anyways, I just want to encourage you to really give to the Batshot Foundation charity. And I really want you to think about it. I want you to come back next Friday and keep doing the work every day. Madeline says, how can we learn to dance with our own death? See, and I love that, because rather than it being like, how do we learn about death? It's like, how do we dance with death? It makes me think movement and physicality is part of the structure. It makes me think the characters are emotionally moving through something. They're not just, it doesn't start with death, it's the dance of death, the journey, right? Is it important to be historically exact? That's great. And it's like, as an artist, if I'm asking that question, how do I show that in a live way in theater, right? It's like, I'm asking myself if that's important. I'm showing characters who are asking about history in their lives. I'm showing a plot and structure that's using something historical and antiquated and making it contemporary. How do you show it in all levels, right? Craig says, driving question, how can we connect in this world? Right, and then maybe you should think about intermedia things and digital things that can make the connection is the theme, right? It's like, or maybe the way you situate the audience is going to have to be about connection. It's not just the characters in the plot who are connecting, it's the whole kit and caboodle. Something about womanhood. See, you all do it last minute. I said I was going to end early. Something about womanhood and childbearing and my place in white supremacy. Yeah, and it's like, I think that's such a powerful question. What is my place in white supremacy? And how do we get more artists exploring that side of it? We write about blackness and we write about oppression and we write about all these things. But how do we write about our own whiteness and the disease that comes with whitenesses, right? Oh, okay, I think I have to go. I can't take all your questions, but can you put them in the comments and I'm going to read them later and I'll reply them. I really thank you for that. Share if you can, like if you can, go down there. Oh, what's happening? Go down here and subscribe. Have you subscribed yet? Have you shared a video yet? It could really use your support. I'll see you next Friday. I just burped a little. If you can do some extra activities, keep going. 15 minutes a day, keep going. It's really amazing, and I'm loving all the work you're doing. I love that you keep showing up. Keep going. 15 minutes a day makes a good writer. I will see you next Friday at 10:15. Bye.